You are now listening to the Overflow Podcast at thisisoutcry.com. Hello, everybody. This is Joaquin.
This is Jake.
And this is the Overflow Podcast at thisisoutcry.com. Thank you. We are so happy to be here today. We welcome you. We are glad that you guys are listening. Right?
Yes.
Yes. Just, make sure that you keep listening. Don't just stop right now. Don't hit pause and then forget about us. Hang with us. Hang with us. Don't leave us. We have abandonment issues.
Like, all right, that's it. I've had enough.
Sorry, we have abandonment issues. Don't be those people. But as always, it's been a pretty fantastic week, I think.
For you?
Sure. Why not? Been working on this weight loss thing, down another pound, sub 300 at the moment, which is a pretty big deal. So I'm now a little less of a big deal. I'm still a big deal, just a little less of a big deal. But for me, I'll start off with me. For me, work's been all right, nice and chill. All I know is that on Friday, our manager came in today. Our new manager came in today, and he told me and my partner at work, he said, hey guys, I'm gonna buy y'all some ribs tomorrow for lunch. And we said, yay. Because I told him we will never, ever, 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 ever
Say no to ribs.
Say no to ribs. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, all three.
Thanks, great.
And they're part of my diet, so I can have all the ribs I want. So yeah, man. So I get to have some ribs tomorrow or today. If you're listening tomorrow, then it's today. So then today, while you're listening, I'll be eating ribs.
And
maybe
if you're listening
if it's Friday
today, then you'll hear us tomorrow.
But it won't be the next day
or yesterday,
when all our troubles seem so far away. So what about you, Jay, man? How's your week been?
Week's been busy. They've had me juggling multiple projects since last week. But this week, on top of the projects they gave me last week, they gave me more projects this week and had me do trainings and teaching the sales team how to sell a better ad. It's just been crazy. The Spanish paper that I'm over is going through a complete revamp. So
you had to teach the salesmen how to do their job.
I had to teach the salesman how to right
or how to sell like the new style ads.
No, how to just sell the ad as they don't realize that they're selling the space, right? And that their goal is to get the client to buy into the space because we provide design, right? So instead, they let their clients, when they sell the space, they let their clients also design the ad for them.
Oh, gotcha.
Right? So a lot of these people, they're like, well, I'm going to spend $300 on an ad, then I'm going to put every single thing that my company offers.
Gotcha.
So like a little square gets filled up with like 300 words.
Right. And then you need a magnifying glass.
Right? And then they get mad because they're like, oh, well, I'm not getting any calls or nobody's coming to the store. That ad isn't working. Yeah, it's not working because nobody's gonna look at an ad that has like 300 words in it.
Yeah, it's like almost you're like, look, you're just better off paying the $300 for the space and getting some high school kid to make the ad for you because it'll probably look $100. Well, actually, no, because a high school kid probably is making your ad. Go to Fiverr, pay $5 to some Indian guy pay $5 to some Indian guy to make the ad for you.
Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible. So, we had a training today and hopefully like I told you, the project of redesigning all these ads so they can see
Right.
what a proper ad would look like.
Right.
Right. It'll transfer into the revamped look of the newspaper, and then I'll have everybody designing like Jay. But that's the thing, because
That's what's up.
we had I had to design a brand new filler campaign for the newspaper. So that's what motivated this. Like, if the filler ads that are just like throwaway ads that we use to fill up space that's empty,
Right.
right? If the filler ads look better than the paid ads, then there's a problem.
Yes.
Right? So that's the deal.
Yes. Because no one wants a filler ad.
Well, the filler ads don't offer anything. You're not making any money.
Man, they're just,
The papers are making money off of filler ads. It's just,
so filler ad has what, like just the paper information?
yeah, information about the paper or the products.
And then isn't Mundo Hispanico a free paper
Yes. For now.
for now?
Well, it's free locally.
Then they're gonna raise it a peso.
It's we're Latino, so we can make jokes like that. It's I think it's free locally, but right now, like I said, with the revamp, they're going national. So who knows? Like right now, they have like reporters all across the country.
Oh, nice.
Like it's bananas. It's crazy.
They should hire us to be the we can call ourselves the Gringo Latino corner.
No, they wouldn't hire us for anything.
You don't think so?
I know so.
I think they would.
I know they won't.
I'm gonna go talk to somebody. People like me, Jay.
No, they won't.
They'll like me.
No, they won't.
People like me, Jay.
Yeah, they do, but not at the paper. They won't.
Oh,
Not at
they
Mundo
will.
Hispanico. They won't.
Oh, they'll love me.
No, they won't.
Why not?
Because you voted for Trump.
They don't know that. They don't know that. You dime me out to them already?
You voted for Trump, so they're not gonna like you.
I'm gonna show up. You're gonna slap me on the back like, "Welcome to the team." I'm gonna have like a big old Trump sticker you can put on my back.
I'm gonna put a "Make America Great Again."
Oh my goodness! Why you gotta out me out like that, man? Why you gotta put out that I voted for Trump?
Oh my goodness! I'm just telling you what the deal
now
is.
people aren't gonna like me
Because like they
Well,
don't.
you
like,
voted for Trump too, so you.
that's why they don't like talking politics with me.
So you're a traitor too. You're a worse kind of traitor. Because at least with me, I look white. So they're just like, he's white. He's not even in touch with his Latino roots. With you, they're like, I almost break my computer. With you, they're like, oh, this is one of ours.
Dude, they don't talk politics with me because they don't want to hear it.
Well, as long as you didn't love my grandmother, try to call my uncle up, just rub it in his face. I was sharing that with my Cedar manager today. He was dying. I was like, yo, this 89-year-old woman was like, gonna be like, son, ha ha. hijo, perdiste. I don't know why she sounded Mexican there, but that's all right.
And you added an S, but that's okay.
That's okay.
Which
That's
grandmother?
Okay. The one you met.
Oh, okay.
The one you met in Florida.
she would totally do that. That lady.
Oh, she was like a really good boo, yo.
Of course,
We had company.
She met me. She met me and she thought I was white. So she was behaving because she thought I was white.
Welcome to my world, Jay.
That's what I said. I was like, now I know what it feels like.
Jay got a taste what it feels like to be a white Puerto Rican.
The thing is, the
thing is, he's as dark as she was.
That's the thing. Like, I'm not a Puerto Rican. And then the curly hair and everything. And I'm speaking Spanish and she was talking to me in English. It's like, oh, yo pensé que era gringo. I was like,
at least you didn't think you were Italian.
like my mom.
Like your mom. For how long? Like 4 years?
She still calls you El Italiano. It's hilarious.
But that's my name for her. That's her nickname for me now, El Italiano.
Yep, that's it. That's you.
And she still speaks to me in English. But
oh man,
that was funny.
Oh, hilarious.
See? Stories on the road with Jae and Joaquin. So last week we talked about
movies. We went in on the
talked
movies.
about all the movies. Like we were just like movies this, movies that, like movies everywhere. This week in the news, there's a few things, but honestly, nothing that really made me go like, whoa, like I have to have my opinion on this one. The only now,
true that.
The funniest story was a couple weeks back. I wanted to share it last week. We got so lost in the movies. And I sent this to Jay because I thought it was just the dumbest. I mean, it was so dumb that the guy deserves everything he gets.
What are you talking
But
about?
it was the guy that called the cops because because his cocaine was stolen, and then the cops end up finding like a brick
A Coke, right?
of coke in his center console. So he had a little bag of coke stolen, called the cops, talking about his coke got stolen,
Which is like
which is like
stupid move number one.
Stupid move number one, and then they find like a brick or a half a brick of coke like in the center compartment of his car.
But why did they get into the center compartment of his car? Like, did they? I mean, I don't understand.
Because he let them search.
Stupid move number two.
But you know what though? I mean, I think, and obviously I don't know because I'm not a lawyer or a police officer, but I think I say if you call the cops, then you're giving them permission to do an investigation. So for them to do an investigation, they got to look in the car.
No, they don't.
If it got stolen from the car, I think maybe somebody out there knows, but
But if you know, then leave a comment
yeah, let us know.
and clarify, because I don't.
Because I don't think you can. I mean, it's like someone breaks into your house, you're gonna call the cops, and then you're gonna be like, well, you can't come in the house to investigate.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my thought process. It's not that the cops, right? If the cop just stops you and he goes, "Can I search your car?" You can tell him no.
No, well, I was, cause I didn't read the article, so I was under the impression that they robbed the house.
No,
and then they went and
no.
checked the car.
They robbed his car. They robbed the coke
But
out
wait,
his car.
how you gonna call the cops talking about they somebody stole my cocaine.
Somebody stole my coke. No, and then that's not. Look, I've heard of people calling the cops because they got their weed stolen. Talking about somebody came and stole my weed.
Well, if it's in Seattle or Colorado, then they can do that.
No, it wasn't. You know, the first time I read this, it was like it was legal in those states.
Okay,
still.
what about the people that go and they rob places and they fall asleep? Or even worse, they log on to Facebook and then they don't log off.
Oh, that's even better. Like, no, that happened a couple weeks back. A guy broke into a house.
And he fell asleep.
No, he was on Facebook.
Oh, get out of here.
And I think he was even talking about like, I broke into this house. I'm stealing stuff. I think it was something like that. And then, I kid you not. It's like, really? Like you deserve everything you get. Like you get caught.
I saw a video.
You get beat down by the cops. You deserve it.
I saw a video a couple weeks ago where the dude of the owner of the house is taking video of his house that was broken into, and he's taking it for the cops, right, and for the insurance. Right. He's showing like the window busted, and he's like taking video around on his phone, and then he goes into his bedroom and the thief is sleeping on his bed. He was like, "What the bleh?" He tells it, "Do you see this? He's actually sleeping." Okay, hold on, I got to get off the video and call the police.
And the guy didn't wake up, like he was out
cold.
Nice.
Out cold on his bed. That must be some comfortable bed, right?
No, like two of my favorite stories, like dumb thief stories. They're super old, but ones where the guy tries to break into he breaks into a convenience store, and he goes down the exhaust chute,
And he gets stuck.
and he gets stuck, and they show up, and they just see his feet, and they had to call the fire department to cut him out.
I saw that.
That one, and the guy that breaks into I think it was either convenience, I think it was a liquor store, like through the roof,
And he fell.
and he fell, and then Lawrence, and he tries to get out, and he can't because he can't climb back up, and he can't go out the door because it's locked, and it's got the like the bars.
Has the gate. Yeah, I
So-
saw that.
So he just sits down, opens up like a bottle of liquor, he starts drinking. What else is there to do?
Oh my goodness.
And that's why, kids, you need to stay at school. You need to learn to read.
Because if you're too stupid to be a criminal, then you
Oh my gosh.
you need to stay in school. All right, moving on. So what are we talking about today?
So all right, so last week we went in on the movies.
This week is TV
We
shows.
went in a little hardcore on the Justice League because we're super.
The Justice League. I mean, come
super
on.
nerds.
Forget about
Speaking
it.
of which, I got the Justice League pops today.
Yes, he did.
Thank you, Comcast.
We'll post a picture up on Instagram.
Yeah, Comcast sends me an email. Hey, you've been with us long enough now. You get a $150 gift card. And I was like, that was not communicated to me when I signed up for that service, even though I changed my service again, but when I signed up for that service, so I was like, so it came in today, and I was like, ooh,
I didn't get an email.
I can go get the pops.
I've been with them for a long time.
That's because I had switched service.
Jerks.
And I was like, oh, I can go get.
Where's my $150 Comcast?
I can go get the pops.
Where's my $150 Comcast?
So all I'm gonna say is, the Justice League pops
are dope.
Look phenomenal, and what we'll do is we'll have a picture of all of them. We're not gonna do. We're gonna do all of them. I picked up Cyborg, Flash, Bats, Soups, Wonders, Aquas, and Mirrors. Mirrors. I picked up. So Aquaman got his girl with him. You know, Superman lonely because they ain't make no Lois Lane pop.
That's okay.
And we all know Batman was spitting game at Wonder Woman. So we know they're an item. And
we got the bosom buddies.
And they got the bosom buddies, Flash and Cyborg. Man, Cyborg looks good. Like, he looks so good.
He does.
Right? It was, he was the one that was kind of like, he looks so good. So we'll show you the Justice League. We'll get them set up and put them on Instagram. It'll be fun. So anyway, so with that being said, we're gonna kind of cover a couple of TV shows real quick. Yo, the shows that are coming back. Like, so as y'all know, we are huge DC fans. I've given up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. last year. I just had enough with them. I quit watching them.
What? Who?
Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I gave up on them like last year.
Sounds like it used to be a good show, and then it just.
Well, actually, it was getting good, but I just couldn't deal with it anymore.
I'm not gonna front. I did watch, I think, the 6 or 7 episodes with Ghost Rider because I was impressed.
Right, I watched the first one episode with Ghost Rider,
and then that's it. I stopped watching it again. Like, I stopped watching it. Ooh, Ghost Rider. I was curious to see how they would make him look.
He looked cool.
Right, he looked really good. And then when they were done with the Ghost Rider storyline, I was done with those.
Well, see, I quit watching because I got tired of the whole, Quake. She's good, and then she went to be bad, and I'm like, honestly, like, for certain, like, for that kind of show, I want my good guys to be good guys. I want my bad guys to be bad guys.
We're wasting time
so
talking
anyway,
about a bad show.
Well, it's not. It is what it is. So, all right. So, bring up. What's the first show you want to talk about?
Flash.
No.
You said that I want to talk about.
Let's start with the newest one because we have the less to say about it.
Oh, okay. Black Lightning.
Black Lightning. Yeah. So Black Lightning, he's the first. He's the first black superhero
with his own TV show.
With his own TV show, not the first black superhero ever. He might be one of the first though.
No.
Who was before him?
Meteor Man.
Shut up. I'm shutting your mic off. Boop. It's like, I just shut his mic off.
All right. So the first black superhero with his own TV show.
With his own TV show.
And we already covered it when we saw the
trailer.
The trailer the first time. That
right.
I'm not as convinced as you are.
Right. I think I see the potential in the show. I see a lot of potential. It's.
I'm still gonna watch it. I'm still gonna watch it.
Yeah, like and the thing is, we're gonna give it the season to let it build and see what it goes into next season, because one thing Gotham has taught us is that you gotta let the show breathe a little bit,
right,
to kind of get its footing, and CW allows their shows to do that.
Boy, has Gotham done that.
So Black Lightning, black superhero. The premise basically is he was
watching the trailer again tonight. Like,
for which one?
Like, for Black Lightning.
Yeah,
I'm upset about the lights in the costume.
Well, that's my question. Is he powering those, or does his costume give him like?
Because it made it seem like he's getting the electric powers from the costume.
Yeah, but I don't think that's what it is.
No, I know it's not what it is.
So we'll find out.
They show that his daughters.
She like starts glowing red or whatever, right?
They have powers,
so
but
she's red lightning.
So hoping
brown lightning.
Well, red. I think they're gonna try to do the Superman thing with the red and blue.
Oh, okay, yeah, because brown lightning would be the Latino superhero.
Right, it'd be the Mexican superhero. But yeah, I wasn't feeling the lighted costume, especially like the little, like they show like the gloves,
right,
like that little skin between the thumb and the forefinger. Like it's got a light in it too. Like,
Yeah, we'll see ultimately. But I think the premise. I mean, I think a guy who was fighting, and he was fighting gangs, right? He was fighting specifically one gang apparently. He retires. He ends up going into the community, becoming a principal, like doing good.
So he can fight that way.
So he can fight that way.
Right? Being a positive role model. And
the gang that he had defeated is kind of rising back to power. So it's like in a lot of superhero things, right? When the hero leaves, there's a void.
A void has to be filled.
And usually bad guys fill that void, and that's why you need the hero to come back. So that's kind of what it looks like it is the void, and it's a more urban kind of thing. And
yep, so it's gonna be very hip hop driven.
So which is fine if they have very cool
very
music.
Slang driven.
I don't know because his character won't be very.
No, not him.
Like
it won't be like
little
a black.
thugs.
It won't be like a black exploitation thing. But I'm talking about like the
That'd
gang.
be kind of cool though, like a '70s black
the gang
exploitation.
members.
They're gonna be gang members.
Yeah,
It's a more urban setting type show. So whatever, it is what it is. I mean, those shows do well when they're good.
Done right.
When they're done right. So I think, and it looks like the first season is going to be him fighting these guys. So it looks like they've really got there's some good potential there. I'm my only concern, my biggest worry is that they don't. We've heard that it's not gonna be part of the Arrowverse, and
which is the same thing we heard with Supergirl. So we
right.
got to give that time.
Yeah,
to develop
but it needs to be part of the Arrowverse.
Of course, I mean,
how freaking cool, right?
I mean, it's on the same network, right? They bumped Legends, right, to make room for it. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's got to be part of the Arrowverse.
Come on,
see that dude shooting.
That's not
shooting
wise.
lightning and the Flash and all those guys.
A five show crossover.
I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight thinking about
it. Come on, son. Anyway,
all
next.
right, so then let's go with Arrow. No, let's go with Legends next. Legends of Tomorrow. Okay. It looked interesting. They broke time apparently. Now I have read that the villains they're it's gonna be multiple villains and because they felt like the show worked better
with
having
the fake Legion of Doom,
with having them fight multiple. I was gonna say demons, multiple.
They fought Legion.
Multiple villains. So like Damien Dark will be back. And then they're gonna and what they said is is what they're trying to do is tie the villains into the characters. So White Canary has that tension with Damien Dark. So like
right.
What other villains are they gonna bring that'll bring that tension with the different heroes instead of them trying to fight the one? Because there was no real tension with Vandal Savage. It was just we gotta stop him.
He sucked.
Right. So but it looked good though. It looked that's another show that's gotten better and better. I think.
I think that Legends. I think it still suffers from lack of cohesion. Right? Maybe now they found or they're finding their footing. Right? Because I think that if they focus on just, and maybe this will be the season where they focus on the heroes just like fixing time or fixing aberrations or like that's their mission. And yes, fill it with multiple bad guys from different eras and different whatever, which makes more sense because like it gives them a centralized mission rather than like all these multiple stories trying to play out all at once, right? Because then it's like it's scattered enough as it is.
Yeah,
got, like,
that's a problem.
6 heroes, right?
Yeah, and that's a problem. That's a problem. A lot of these shows sometimes they get a little too many stories.
Yeah,
yeah, and I see, but I like if you get multiple villains, but then tie the villains to the different characters.
Well, to the different characters or the different timelines, right? Because that's what Legends is about.
If you get to whatever, and the main villain, White Canary has a problem with Damien Dark, right?
Of course, he killed her sister.
He killed her sister. So there's that tension there, and then the other team has to try to keep her focused. So I think it works well when all the guys when they were just kind of having this tension with the different villains, and each hero had their problem. I think that works better.
Yeah,
right.
That.
So anyway, but I'm excited for it. It's a fun show.
It is a fun show to watch. It is a fun show to watch.
And the chemistry of the actors of the team it's a good chemistry. They're funny together. They're fun. Brandon Roth, who plays Ray Palmer. I love his character. He's still so kind of innocent.
He's still very
Right?
much Superman.
It's so daring do. He's like, let's do this, Which I love.
Daring do. What is that?
That's like a
No.
When were you born? The 1930s? I don't know. Can't say.
He's so stupid. No, what's that? The Canadian Mountie cartoon.
Dudley Do-Right.
Dudley Do-Right. There you go.
He's very Dudley Do-Right. He is. I love it. Because with him, I love it with him and with him and what's his name, the fire guy,
Firestorm.
Mick.
Okay. Yeah. Heat Wave.
I like when they kind of go at each other.
Yeah.
Because he's like, "You're my friend. Leave me alone." This is great. All right, so we have Legions. Then next we have Arrow, which last season
That cliffhanger from
probably
last
had the
season.
best ending. Flash had the most emotional ending. Arrow had the WTF ending.
Yeah.
Right?
What the?
Because the freaking Prometheus kills himself. I mean, he was so dedicated to ultimately destroying Oliver that he blew his own brains out.
I feel that, like in all the seasons of Arrow, they finally got like a worthy villain, right? Because Prometheus was always 10 steps ahead of Oliver, right? Always 10 steps ahead.
Right. He well, what it is. What's funny though is that each villain, even the weaker villains, has been a progression in how Oliver how his character has grown,
Right.
as the Green Arrow.
Right.
Because you had Merlin at first, and which was a good, so here's a guy who is really ruthless, and that's when Oliver was at his most ruthless, right? When he was just killing people. And then you had Deathstroke, which was his friend. And then not just his friend, a guy that helped train him.
Yeah.
And
he ended up killing his mom.
And he ended up, so then you had this guy who was your friend, killed your mom, and he,
for me, the most
and
useless.
he had to keep making him step up his.
The most useless villain in Arrow was Dark. Like that whole season for me, like I could have done without it.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. I like that actor, so I
like the actor, but
so I think he did fine. I mean,
it's just like
they brought magic into it.
Yeah,
and I think
the whole mysticism thing was
and I think
so
that's
unnecessary.
what I think they did it just so they could bring Constantine because his episodes were really great.
Yeah, it was like that was like the highlight of the season.
But I think it was just that was
that's another show that should come back.
Right, in a way you needed Damien Dark and that mysticism as a way to kind of introduce that aspect of the DC universe because you had to introduce it at some point. And at least he was a ruthless. Now he wasn't a corny villain. Like at the end of the day, though, right? He wasn't a corny villain, and so we're thankful for that. But yeah, so Arrow's coming back. We know some people survive. We know. Just because of the trailer, Deathstroke survives.
We know Deathstroke survived, but we also know that he bounced on them too.
We know that Black Canary survives.
The new Black Canary
and the old.
Well, the Otherworld one.
Right. The
Earth 2 one.
Earth 2 one. We're assuming Felicity survives, even though we didn't see her in the trailer, did we?
No, we did not.
We know the kid survived, obviously.
Well, he was with.
So it's gonna be interesting. Is he gonna make him into little Green Arrow? his Robin to Arrow's Batman. So yeah, and then I do know that. So this next season, it's him. It's gonna be him dealing with the loss and still moving forward. And I read we're finally gonna see who the vigilante is. And they said that it's somebody we've seen before. So that's...
it's going to be Dolph Lundgren.
Nah, he's too big. He's too tall.
Well...
The vigilante was... And he's too old to be that nimble. To be that agile.
We were talking about Arsenal earlier, but Arsenal's too short. Like the vigilante was a bit taller than Arsenal.
But I mean, that's what they got those lift boots for. So that'll be great. So we're excited, man. We're excited. Every show so far has been like, we're just like, oh.
Supergirl.
I don't care about Supergirl that much. You're more of a Supergirl fan. I gave up on that show after like 4 episodes. And it wasn't because I didn't like it. Let me kind of, if you're a Supergirl fan, it's not because I didn't like it. It was just I have so much stuff that I watch that that stuff just kind of gets lost in the cracks.
Nah, I still watched it, even though I think that this might be the season that I stop. Right, because I didn't really like the last season, right? Because they were so focused on making her like a feminist icon that that was the drive of the season, was creating her into this feminist icon rather than character development, right? So the stories were all focused around her feminism and her strong woman or whatever, even to the point of emasculating, her boyfriend, Mon-El, right? Having him almost cooking and cleaning almost every episode and like, backing off and being like this wimp of a man, right, who's basically
as powerful and
as strong as she is, right? And then
she's a strong woman. Yeah, she is. She's
she's
Supergirl.
She's Supergirl, right? But then right, but then like that was the focus,
right?
Instead of more character development, relationship development, character development with Martian Manhunter or whatever, right? It was just a focus on she's a strong woman, she's a strong female. So, and then like we said earlier when we saw the trailer, like the trailer showed absolutely nothing, right? So if you don't even have like highlights or things that make you go, oh damn, oh my god, I can't wait to see that, right, in a trailer, then
unless
what are you doing?
Unless they got some stuff planned that they didn't want to.
Like the only thing that was exciting about that trailer was Lois Lane from Smallville,
because I thought
is going to be in the show now.
Like I thought Arrow gave too much away. Arrow shouldn't have showed us who survived. Arrow shouldn't have shown us any of those people, because now we know at least 4 people that survived, right?
4 or 2?
Well, we know the 2 Black Canaries.
Oh, right, the other Black Canary.
Right, we know Deathstroke. Right, we know Mr. Terrific survived.
Do we?
I see, because he's been in the promos, so that's why I said
I didn't see anything about
so
him
I mean,
and we assume Felicity survived.
Right, we assume Felicity survived. So
yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So Supergirl. All right, now this is a tough one. Flash or Gotham, because Gotham had the stronger ending of those two. I don't know, man. I think Gotham probably had the strongest ending of all the DC
Gotham
shows.
had the strongest season.
Yes.
Of all of the DC shows,
and the strongest ending. Gotham had so here's the thing, right? So let's go Flash and then Gotham. So Flash, we know the last season ended with him going into
him saying goodbye and going into
the Speed Force,
passing the mantle over to Wally.
Right. So, yes. So now this new season,
basically he's the new Flash.
From what we're seeing, he's going to be gone for a little bit. Apparently, they figure out how to bring him back.
Yes.
And it's just going to be. It looks like this for however many episodes. I think they're going to bring him back early.
I don't. I think they're going to bring him back.
Jay thinks they're not going to bring him. I think they're going to.
Because that's what they've always done. That's been like their formula.
Nah, but it's been their formula for other characters, not for the main character. So they
have to develop Wally as a Flash, because that's what they did in the comic books.
So you establish the samurai guy in the first episode or the second episode. Third episode, he dresses as the Flash.
And he fails miserably.
And they figure out. So by the third, let's say fifth at the latest episode, they figure out how to bring him back. There's no way they're gonna have him gone a whole half season.
Nah, they do what they want.
There's just no way.
All right, but the big thing, well, for me, for this nerd, about the Flash is knowing that they're gonna bring in the elongated man.
Yes.
From Justice League, from the comics, Justice League and Justice Society.
So the elongated man, elongated. I can't say
just elongated.
Elongated man.
There you go. You
man.
got it. Yay.
Brah, brah, brah. English is hot. He's kind of like Plastic Man, basically. So everyone pretty much knows who Plastic Man is, right? He's like he gets straight, kind of like Mr. If you saw the Fantastic Four movies, he was Mr. Fantastic. I can't remember his name. That was right, Mr.
Yeah.
Fantastic. He can just stretch, and he's supposed to be is he like a detective or he's a
detective,
like a PI or something?
He's a detective. He's
supposed to be
he's
really
a PI
smart.
who rivals even Batman in his skill.
Right.
Right. So like even Batman respects him as like as a
even
someone
though
like
in the
him.
Justice League cartoons they had him a little more goofy.
Yeah, I don't know why. But whatever.
But so they're gonna have him, and then who else?
And the villain is going to be the Thinker. The villain
Yes,
is supposed
they
to be the Thinker,
they said it was
which is
gonna be
like
the Thinker.
the fastest mind in the world, right?
Right.
So
And it looks like there's gonna be a really bad samurai. Like that dude was
yeah,
sick.
whoever that is,
That was dope. I liked it.
yeah, whoever that was. I don't even know who that is.
That was great. That scene, Cisco's like, do you know who we are? And he's like, sword that blew them all up.
Also, you said Cisco. I just read that another person is going to come in is going to be Machete. Well, the guy that plays Machete. Yeah, him. Machete is going to be
Danny Trejo.
Yeah, Danny Trejo is going to come in. He's going to be Gypsy's dad,
Nice.
and he's going to show up. Right.
He'll be like, why are you talking to my daughter?
And basically, give Cisco a hard time because
Awesome. That'll be great.
because he's with his
No,
daughter.
I've been to jail because that dude's been in jail for real. Like that dude's like been to, not only was Danny Trejo in jail, like he was in like real jail.
Yeah, he was in real jail.
Right.
But
So
dope. But yo,
I'm scared of him, and I will never see him in my life.
but son, like they're gonna bring
That's
in.
awesome.
They're gonna bring in Machete.
I love it. I love it. Hey, it can't be bad if Danny Trejo's gonna be showing up.
Oh my God. Oh, it's gonna be awesome.
That's gonna be great. I know. And
Right,
now,
so Gotham.
not a Gotham. Holy
Crap.
cow.
Yo,
I mean,
Gotham. What's up, son?
yo. So y'all know last year we talked about Gotham. Listen, of all the shows we talked about, if you have to see one trailer, Gotham trailer, Gotham's Comic-Con
the full trailer, the Comic-Con trailer,
is the one to watch. It gives you a synopsis
right?
of last season where it was
A whole bunch of things
It was
happened.
basically the bad guys fighting each other to establish dominance for Gotham. So you see the rise of the Riddler. You see
The rise and fall of the Riddler.
the rise and fall of the Riddler. You see the fall and rise of the Penguin.
Right.
Right. You see
The introduction of
the introduction to Catgirl.
the cat girl.
She is Catgirl right now.
Right now,
she's
right?
not a woman right now. She's Catgirl.
Well, yeah,
Kitten-
cat girl,
kitten-
kitty,
kitten girl.
You see the introduction of kitten. Right?
So you see the first real glimpse of Catgirl at the end of the season when she takes that whip and she goes, whoosh.
And you get the Easter egg of
Solomon Grundy, which I've read that they're going to develop him this season. So he's gonna because he got shot in the head, so the dude's gonna be brain dead or whatever. They're gonna bring him back. Hugo will probably bring him back because Hugo Strange is always bringing people back. So we're looking at potential middle of the season, end of the season, Solomon Grundy,
And then
and wait. Then Barbara comes back after we thought that she was.
does she come back?
Didn't you see the? Didn't you
I
see
know,
the
but
trailer?
that could have been like a vision.
No,
a
I
nightmare.
read that she comes
Oh,
back.
yeah?
At first, David.
How do people stay dead?
David Mraz.
David Mazouz?
Mazouz Mraz. Who's David Mraz? Anyway, David Mazouz.
No idea.
He said that she was going to be Harlequin,
Okay.
but
Nah.
that got axed out.
Okay.
So who knows who she's going to be?
Good.
Yeah. So then in all of that, Raish is going to come back.
Dude. And an actual race this time. Because I'm sorry. The Ra's al Ghul of Arrow was disappointing. Very disappointing. You know, I've said that from the jump since they first introduced him, right? Disappointing. But this guy looks like he stepped out of the comic books himself.
Yes. So we have Raish, which he was introduced. He was
At the end of the
introduced at the end of the season. So now we have Raish, because he's going to be popping in and out.
And the Lazarus Pit.
You know, we know that there's a Lazarus Pit in Gotham now, or at least that's what they've established.
Right.
And
Which makes a lot of sense.
Bruce is stepping into Frank Miller's Batman Year One.
Yes, he is. Oh my God, yes, he is. A little early, right? A little early, but still.
I mean, the kid's what, about 15?
Still.
He's about 15 now. I mean, yeah, it is.
In the show?
In the show. It's probably about
15, 16. Yeah.
Right?
So this is a time that he spent traveling, learning the different fighting styles.
Right, because he
supposedly.
came back in his mid-20s, I
Right.
think, is when he came back to Gotham. So, which he could still do. You know, he could. I mean, within this arc. I mean, but he was training with Alfred,
Mm-hmm.
and we all know Alfred is a bad mofo SAS officer, right? So you know, all I'm saying is, what's the matter? What, you didn't like mofo?
No, I didn't.
It's not a dirty word.
Yes, it is.
It's like mofongo. You can finish it. Mofongo.
Don't. Great. Now I want some mofongo.
So he's been training with Alfred,
And he did train with that other guy for a bit.
and he trained with the other dude. So I mean,
the person we all thought was going to be
was going to be Raish, and they
Right.
okey-doked this.
But and then with the fact that Raish has been introduced, then he still needs to be trained by the League of Assassins.
So do we
And
have
those ninjas.
Do we have a time jump,
So either a time
in the
jump
future?
or
which I'd be okay with?
or at the end of
After they put the cowl on him,
the end of the season, he leaves with Raish,
yeah.
right? And then when he comes back next season, right, he's trained a little better or
Better.
whatever, right?
Yeah. So yeah, man. And
But-
then, but wait,
there's more.
Guys, they showed us
Oh my goodness.
another one of Batman's
Most iconic villains.
rogues gallery villains, the Scarecrow. And he didn't look like the Dark Knight Scarecrow. He looked like the Arkham
He looked like the Arkham Scarecrow.
Asylum Scarecrow.
The funny thing about the Scarecrow is that I don't know if you remember, but they introduced the Scarecrow, I think last season.
Well, they introduced Crane, right?
They introduced Crane, the father, right? That he was
Yes.
developing the fear
That's right.
fear toxin.
That's
right.
right.
And then the son was there.
That's
Right. They showed the son that he was young and he didn't know what was going on, but he saw everything that happened. So now, like, they're bringing him back.
So
And he's got the
is it
burlap
going to be the
sack.
son?
Oh my god.
Did the dad die or did the dad?
The dad died.
Dad died, so it might be the son, or maybe there's
The dad died.
or maybe there was an older brother nobody knew about. he called me, you call about daddy.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness,
so-
dude.
So,
And
so you got the
he
penguin.
actually looks scary.
Yeah. So you got Scarecrow. You have the penguin coming back to power. You're gonna have Barbara. You're gonna have Barbara gunning for her former partners. You're gonna have Solomon Grundy.
Ra's al Ghul.
You're gonna have Ra's al Ghul. You're gonna have Catwoman's training. Right. She's gonna be trained. She's gonna be learning how to fight
But you'll
better
have,
and all that stuff.
But you'll have young Batman.
And then you're gonna have a young Batman.
Young Batman. Like they have the scene of him
Like,
standing on the
he's
gargoyle.
gonna be Robin. He's gonna be Robin before he becomes Batman.
He's standing on the gargoyle. They showed the scene out of Year One where he puts on the ski mask.
Yes.
Like, and he fights the street thugs and gets his butt kicked, but still, like, he's still doing it. Like, he's doing it. He's moving into that.
Yes.
So it's
And I also read that they're gonna be used parts of how was the I started reading it, I never finished it. Long Halloween.
right.
They're gonna use parts of that. So it's gonna be parts of Year One and parts of Long Halloween storyline that they're gonna kind of bring together. So it's gonna be dope. So that's our trailer to check out. If you could, of all the trailers, check out Gotham, especially if you're a Batman fan. If you're not a Batman fan, then what is wrong with you? You should be one. So, all right. So we're gonna move on. So
And
that's
and one for the other team. One for the other team. There's also an Inhumans trailer out there somewhere.
Right, so they're
if
doing-
you're into that, go check that out.
yeah. So if you're into the Humans, it looks okay. Probably not something we're gonna watch. And later this month, The Defenders comes out. where we have the team up of Daredevil, Jessica Jones. As Jay said, Iron Fist and
shut up,
and Luke Cage. That's Iron Fist.
Iron Fist.
It's like a karate. But that would be hilarious. Like they're all standing up. You see them like they're coming across like Luke Cage, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and also the camera drops down.
Iron
It's a
Fist.
little fish. With like
Why not? I mean,
with like a like with their little flippers, like
a fin.
glowing yellow.
Well, why not? I mean, Marvel has Spider-Ham.
And they have Squirrel Girl,
Right.
What's that? Right, Squirrel Girl.
Squirrel Girl, but she's still like a female. Spider-Ham is an actual pig.
Right.
Right. So they have Spider-Ham. Why not have Iron Fist? That'll be an awesome team up.
That would be great.
Spider-Ham and Iron Fist.
So Marvel, if you're listening, we just gave you $1 million idea.
Oh my goodness! All right, so you texted me.
So you talk for a sec. I gotta pull this up.
You texted me a video, right, of a Spanish reggae song.
A Spanish reggae group.
Okay, so it's a group, not just a song.
It's a group. They're called Jah Love.
The group is called Jah Love?
Jah Love. They do reggae / hip hop. They kind of mix. I think they kind of do like a little mix of the both.
And there's some Latin flavor in there too.
And
though.
they're well,
Right,
yeah,
because-
because they're Latinos.
No, but I'm saying like the
that.
like tropical sounds.
Yes,
right. Like
they're from. I want to say Costa Rica. I'm gonna say Costa Rica. I'm gonna stick with Costa Rica. I could be wrong.
Costa Rica.
But
That's why people think that you're white.
why? Because I speak English. I don't have the accent. Anyway, because I don't bother with the whole like Costa Rica.
Because you say Spanish words and names
In English.
in gringo.
Yeah, because I don't care.
It's not in English. It's in gringo.
Because I don't care. that's the big difference. Right? Because that's the joke, right? You talk to a Puerto Rican, and they don't speak a lick of Spanish, but then they're like, "Oh yeah, but my parents are from Puerto Rico," and it's like, "Come on,
Darn straight.
come on, son."
But anyway, continue.
But they were on my Spotify Discover weekly Discover playlist they put out every week. For whatever reason, I just decided to listen to it. I was doing some stuff around the house. This song comes up. I was like, oh my goodness, this is dope. So I sent it to Jay because Jay is a lover of the reggae, and I think he listened to like 30 seconds of it. He was like, let's do this song. Actually, I'm the one that was like, I think this should be the song for this week. And he was like, I concur.
yeah, I was like, yo, yes,
I
it's dope.
agree.
And it's dope though.
It's a dope song.
Like it's dope.
It's a
So
dope song. So with that being said,
Dale.
it's called Pronto Volverá Jah Love.
so stupid.
Vamos con 4.
Pronto volverá él por su pueblo. Oh, y todos verán que él es el verdadero. Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ, el verdadero Dios.
Pronto viene el león de Judá y a tus hijos él viene a buscar. Ya no dejes el tiempo pasar, solo debes querer y avanzar. Hay una corona que espera a los que perseveran. Y yo me voy con él y tú te vas con él. Dime dónde te irás si tu confianza no está en ya. Es mejor que ya lo pienses, que pronto vendrá. Y yo me voy con él.
Pronto
That was Pronto Volverá por Jah Love.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, dope. Jah Love, that'll be up on the webpage.
Yes, it will.
So I listened to a few of their other stuff. I liked it.
Yeah, I'm gonna look them up.
I like it. You should look it up.
I'm gonna
Dope
add
stuff.
them to my Spotify.
So,
Yo,
Jay,
yo.
did you know that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me?
So
All things.
all things.
All, like right now,
So
I'm talking right now. All things.
can you
I'm doing this.
Can you climb a wall
I can.
through Christ?
Through Christ. Yes, and ropes.
And Christ will give you. So
He'll give me the strength to
can-
pull myself up off the ropes, up the ropes. On the ropes?
Can you lift this building?
Yes.
Because Christ
Christ
gives you the
gives
strength,
me the
right?
strength. I
And
can do it because I am a boss.
Can you teleport?
Call me Rick Ross. No, don't call me that.
Please don't call it that.
Yeah, please. We'll fight. Can I teleport? No.
No, because that doesn't
The-
require any strength.
Well, the technology hasn't been created yet.
No, but
But
Christ-
one day we will.
But you can do all things.
All things.
You can do all things. So that means you can
All-
teleport.
Actually, do you want something? I just came back. I have I have some Chinese food from China. Well, they
So-
just call it food.
So what you're saying is, all right, let's not be silly. So what you're saying is,
I can't
because
help it.
God gives you strength, you can tomorrow go to the gym and like power lift like 2,000 pounds, which is basically a ton. So you can power lift a ton, right? Because God gives you strength to do that.
How do you think I get to work every day? I lift my car up and run.
Dude, that's dope.
Wouldn't that be awesome? It's like,
No.
There's a guy running down the interstate.
It wouldn't be awesome because like,
I got my car.
why? Why run to work, carry your car?
Because I can.
So can you fly? Because if you can fly, if God gives you the strength to fly, then I need to like change my prayer.
Yeah, I can fly, dog. Like
I
a
got-
butterfly in the sky.
You can go twice as
I
high.
can go twice as high. Look. So,
All right, so let's
we're
let's clarify what
we're
we're-
being silly. So here's the thing.
boom.
So this is a conversation me and Jay have had before multiple times because the scripture. Maybe I should start like this way. Scripture is edifying because that's what it's
supposed to do.
that is part of what it's supposed to do, right? Scripture is supposed to teach us, right? It's supposed to be a book to learn from, to teach, rebuke, edification, like all these different things.
Vision, direction, all those great things.
Now, one thing the scripture does also, a lot of verses, right, is that it inspires.
Correct.
For example, if I'm feeling down, if I'm getting one of my moods where I'm just kind of getting depressed or whatever, the Lord is my shepherd; I shall not want. He'll lead me through the valley, right? So like I read that to know that this is a phase, right? This is just a moment, but that God is with me. So that will give me inspiration, right? And that'll help me. And in that, right, I can get that help to kind of that onus to kind of get up out of that and move even within the depression, right? Even within the bad negative feelings.
Yeah.
So when we talk about Philippians 4:13, we see it, and it's let's see, I think I just pulled it up. Right, so and as I said earlier, I can do all things through Him who strengthens me. That's the ESV version. I think the NIV says through Christ
Who gives me strength?
who gives me strength. So, but the point is that we see a lot of times we see this verse used, and funnily enough, is used a lot in like sports analogies
as motivation.
and as motivation. Like I can, I can.
Basically, like Rob Schneider. You
I
can do it.
You can do it. I can do my best because Christ is going to be the strength to do my best.
Right.
Now, here's the thing. I
have no idea how to do that job. I know that I pray to God, He's going to give me the knowledge and the ability to do it.
I think you're kind of.
Oh no, I've seen it.
You're really reaching there.
I've seen it. I've seen it.
You know what? I don't. And here's the thing, right? And this is I might differ with Jay on this. Like I have no problems, with wanting to have that sentiment, right? With wanting to have that feeling of regardless of what's going on, right? I used to play sports. I played sports for 18 years. I played baseball, and as I used to think about this verse like that, because I would go through tough times in baseball, playing ball, and so it was like, but I can do this. I can do this through Christ. Christ gives me the strength, the fortitude. Now most people, obviously, me and Jay kind of took it to an extreme, like a physical strength, and I don't think
that was just out of.
And I don't think
that was just joking,
right? But the reality is that people use that as a motivator. So I can do X, Y, Z. Not so much that I can lift 2 tons.
I can lift up my car,
and run to work. But it's like I'm having a tough time. I can do all things through Christ,
which is the context in which that verse was used.
Correct.
Right. So, read the other verses.
So, all right. So so we're bringing this up, and right as I dive into this section, and this is because of this, because we need to realize ultimately, and I kind of gave it away, right? We need to realize what this verse really means. What are the things that we can do through Christ who gives us strength? It's not a slogan. It's not like a Nike just
right.
do
It's not
it.
a tagline,
right? Which is what it's become.
Correct.
And it kind of robs it, really. People use it, right, as a motivator. I can complete these tasks, right, because God gives me the strength to complete these tasks. But if we look at it within the context of kind of, if we look in the context of what was written before it, especially,
and the person that wrote it, that idea of I can do all things through Him, I can complete these tasks, or I can make it through this thing, man, it kind of robs it of that. It kind of diminishes it a little bit, because the meaning before it really gives it power. Exactly, right? So if you were to read the verses before it so that you can understand the context, so you can understand the position that Paul was in when he wrote it, right? And then also understand the life and the ministry of Paul, after he became Paul, then you would realize that it's not a motivator to like do the impossible,
or not even to do the
right?
impossible. I'll dial it even down to do your best.
Right.
It's not even a motivator.
Okay. Yeah.
To do your best. Right.
Yeah.
We should. And me and Jay have talked about this, right? We should do all things for the glory of God. So we should always try to do our best.
Which is another verse.
Right, which is a different verse. But, right, however, this verse it wasn't designed, it wasn't written for you to do your best.
Right. It's not the biblical version of just do it, like you said before.
Right. So here's so I'm going to read 4, start with 13. What is wrong with me in English today? Me or any language. Philippians 4, verse 10 through 13. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. And this is what it says. This is Paul. I rejoiced in the Lord greatly that now at length you have received your concern for me. You were indeed concerned for me, but you had no opportunity. Verse 11, not that I am speaking of being in need, for I have learned in whatever situation I am to be content. I know how to be brought low, and I know how to abound in any and every circumstance. I have learned the secret of facing plenty and hunger, abundance, and need. I can do all things through Him who gives me strength. So Paul's kind of giving us a whole lot of information here, right? He starts with, I rejoice greatly now that length. So he's writing, right? He's writing to the Philippians, and he's saying, look, thank you. Thank you for being concerned for me.
Yeah.
Right? Which, I mean, that's a whole nother sermon right there on how we should be. We should have concern for our brothers,
and sisters. Yep.
Right. He goes, you were indeed concerned for me, but you had no opportunities. In other words, you're basically saying like, listen, like you were worried about me, but there was nothing you could really do. Right. You had no opportunity to really do anything for me. Right. And that's where he goes, not that I'm speaking of being in need. So once again, they couldn't do anything for him, which in that time, maybe they couldn't send him food or they couldn't send him money. Really, is what they probably would have sent them, right? They couldn't send them money. He goes, not that I am speaking of being in need, for I have learned in whatever situation I am to be content. Right? So that's the first part. Paul's first thing Paul says is, I've learned to be content. And what does that mean? What does it mean to be content? Jay, what do you think that means? What does that mean?
Well,
Pastor Jay.
in this situation, right? In this situation, because you have to take everything, right? Everything that you just read, right? And I go back. It's funny, right? How many times or how many episodes I go back to this same R.W. Shineback song, right? Hallelujah, anyhow, right? Because, in this case, like he's learned to be content in the good and the bad, right? So when things are going well, right? Because he says, I know what it is to go hungry. And I know what it is to be well fed.
I know low and
right?
how to abound.
Right. So,
every circumstance.
So in every circumstance, you're content. You're happy. You find joy. You go on. Why? Because you can do all things through Christ who gives you strength, which in this case, and in the case that it's supposed to be understood in, is you can endure all things through Christ who gives you strength. Right?
Correct.
It's not, again, like we were joking around before, it's not that God's going to give us superpowers, right? It's not the biblical version of just do it, right? But it's the fact that in your highs and in your lows, right? When you abound and when you don't, when you're hungry and when you're like full, right? You can endure all things.
Right. So the the idea here, right, is that So we know we go through, so we go through stuff in life, right? We know we go through stuff in life. Life is full of stuff.
Yes.
We go through stuff. How we make it through that stuff, right? That's important. And so that's why this, this kind of section, especially 11 through 13, right? He says he's learned when he was low, when he was high, when he abounded, when he had plenty. When he was hungry, when he had to eat, like Jay said earlier, and it's funny because all these are kind of synonymous with each other, right? They all there's this contrast: abundance and need, plenty and hunger. Low, I know how to be brought low, and I know how to abound. Low, high, right? Hungry, full. So a lot of stuff, no stuff.
To use your line. With that being said, right?
Yes.
2 Corinthians 11:24-27, Paul talks about a lot of his sufferings. Right. So I'm going to run through those real quick.
Okay.
Right.
What did he suffer?
He says
He didn't suffer fools.
5 times I received from the Jews the 40 lashes minus 1. Right. 3 times I was beaten with rods. Once I was pelted with stones. 3 times I was shipwrecked. I spent a night and a day in the open sea. I have been constantly on the move. I have been in danger from rivers, in danger from bandits, in danger from my fellow Jews, in danger from Gentiles, in danger in the city, in danger in the country, in danger at sea, and in danger from false believers. I have labored and toiled and have often gone without sleep. I have known hunger and thirst and have often gone without food. I have been cold and naked. Like Paul suffered. Right? All around from everyone and everything he suffered. But I can endure, right? Instead of saying do all things, I can endure all of these things because my sustenance, my help, my strength to endure these things comes from God. So if you read all those things that Paul suffered,
correct.
It's not just do it. It's, oh my God, wow, right?
Yes.
But that wow, like how he kept on and he shuffled on and he continued on because his strength and his reward comes from God. So and the thing is that we had something else planned for tonight, and I just kept seeing this I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength.
Right. So what
use as
is
motivation.
Right. So
right?
So what is it that you saw? Like, give us a couple examples. Like, I want specific things.
I'll give you. I'll give
that
you.
Picture.
I'll give you the one that finally made me text you and say, "Yo, instead of speaking about the fruits of the Spirit tonight, let's speak about like the misuse of this verse." It was a diet and a workout. Right.
Okay.
It was about a diet and a workout. Oh, this diet is so tough and I hate going to the gym, but I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And I was like, no. No. Like, that is not the way to use that verse. And we see it used not specifically for diets or workouts, or sometimes, yes, specifically for diets and workouts.
Apparently, yes, because that was the example.
Right, but we see it misused a lot. And as you said before, that unless you really understand the context, right, so that you can use it properly, you steal some of the glory that comes from actually using this verse properly, right? Because like you said, like, circumstances of life hit us hard, where we sometimes doubt our faith, where we sometimes doubt, is God there? Is he listening, right? I'm praying and I don't feel anything. I'm praying, I don't hear from God, right? I don't feel he's listening. But if you were to use this verse properly, right? Life sucks. Things are happening. This is happening. I'm getting beat up, but I can endure this because I get my strength from God and not from man, not from my husband, my wife, my children, not from my work, anything.
Not from my pops, because I live by myself. So.
My strength to endure these things, to go on through these things, to live through these things comes from God. And there is so much glory, right? And so much peace that we can receive from that realization, rather than saying, I don't feel like going to the gym today, but I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Nah, man. You don't feel like going to the gym today? Then stay home.
Right. Don't go to the gym.
Then go home. Right.
Right.
That's not what that verse was for.
Right. It's and that's the thing, right? We tend to use it to want to use it for kind of like these physical feats, but it's a much deeper strength that we need in Christ. We've and it's hard though, right? Because like I was just sharing with Jay earlier, I was, the last couple of weeks I've really been battling just my own thoughts in my own head, because I just so I get lost in my thoughts a lot sometimes, just because I have nothing else going on. I'll just be sitting there listening to music or just sitting there. I just get lost in my thoughts, and I battle my thoughts, and they bring me down sometimes. So actually this is a great reminder for me, because I tend to get lost in those. But what I need to do is as I begin to get lost in those, you know what, I can make it through these thoughts. I can make it through this battle, through this inner struggle, because Christ is with me.
And right? to add to that, right? If you were to read and you go to the end, right, verses 19 and 20,
it says, "And my God will supply every need of yours according to his riches and glory in Christ Jesus. To our God and Father be glory forever and ever. Amen."
Amen. Right? But it's there, right? I can endure, I can go through these because Christ gives me strength, and he will meet your needs, right? All of your needs according to the riches of his glory in Christ Jesus, right? There's no, well, yeah, there is, but for right then and right there and what you're going through and the circumstance and all that stuff, right? There is no greater promise, right? He'll meet all your needs, right? Through the riches and glory in Christ Jesus. So
just remember that in him, it's funny that I feel like I have to make this disclaimer, right?
Go ahead.
Still jacked up. But remember, God's meeting of your needs,
it's not a prosperity thing.
It's not. Well, I wasn't even gonna say that, but we'll add that
it just
to
hit
it.
me.
It's not a prosperity thing. God meeting your needs might not look like what you think it should look like.
Correct.
It reminds me of a hip hop song back in the day, about Christian hip hop song, where the guy's like he's railing against God. He's got, God, where have you been? Have you taken care of my mother? Like, we've suffered, and my mom's gone through stuff, and she prays to you, but where you been? And God responds, right? In the song, God responds, and he goes, Well, has your mom had a roof over her head? Has your mom had a bed to sleep in? Has your mom had a vehicle to get to and from work? So, you know, so what's that picture? The picture is that, you know, the guy, the guy that's talking to God, his vision of how God should be providing was different from how God was actually providing, but God was providing, and so it's remember that, you know, so that's the thing, is just remember that when God provides, don't look at it as what my vision of how God should be providing, but look at how is God providing. You need a car. You might not have the nice Audi, but you got the Chevelle, right? the Chevette, right, or whatever, the Pacer, whatever, like old car, you know. But the
Yugo.
But it works, right? And it gets you to work, and it gets you home, and it allows you to do things, allows you to go do the things you like to do. All those kinds.
If you're doing all this preaching and all this ministering, how come you don't have a platform like somebody else?
I don't know what Jay's trying to get at.
No,
there.
I'm saying that's
a little lost.
No, that's something as well, right? Because like those of us, right, that are ministering and preaching and whatever, right? A lot of people look for platforms, right? So a lot of people, and I've had these conversations with other preachers, other pastors, whatever. You know, I do this and I do that and I do that, but like I don't feel that God is like, what is it, prospering my ministry, right? You know,
okay.
And things like that. Hey, you know what? That's not what God is supposed to do, and that is not why you do these things.
Well, I don't know. That's not what God is. God is supposed to do whatever God's gonna do, right? But that's not what our mentality should be, right? You know. So that's like kind of like the disclaimer, because we get so caught up sometimes in, you know, and I'm guilty of this, right? Of comparing ourselves and comparing our blessings to other people's blessings. And so in that, then we get lost in that, and then we get into these really weird places.
Right. So basically,
Yes.
right.
To wrap it up.
Right. What we're
As
saying,
we're wrapping this up with a bow,
what we're saying is that
don't be a fool.
Stay in school. No. Read the Bible. Right. And that's the thing, right? Because a lot of people they just know verses. Right?
Correct.
Because they've heard it so much, or they use it so much.
Correct.
Right. But read your Bible. It's good to know the fullness of the word.
Okay, pause. Or they have the little promise book, the Bible promise books, which is just nothing but Bible verses. Anyway, go ahead. Continue. I just had to get that shot out there. I have a couple of those. I mean, I'm not fronting or nothing.
Oh my gosh, I don't think I ever had any of those. I think my things were all like the chick tracks at the getting the guide books. But anyway, right? Read the fullness of the word so that you can receive the fullness from the word, right? Instead of like nitpicking and trying to find verses that'll soothe you,
Correct.
right? And that'll taste good to you, right? Read everything. Right, read the full chapter. Right, find out what's going on, so that you can receive the full blessing, right, of what you're reading,
Right,
and
the full understanding,
and
yeah.
understand it.
Read the
fully.
first 5 and the last 5 verses that surround that one verse, you know,
Right.
And then you can kind of get, you know, you'll get the full. Listen, my epiphany for this, you know, and I'll be honest with you, I used to use this verse like that, right? I used to be like, you know, I can do all things through God who strengthens me. I even thought about getting a tattoo one time with that verse on it, right? Because so I could read it and be inspired in everything that I did. However,
I mean, you're still inspired, but you know,
right? But when I read, but so here's the thing, though. When I read the preceding verses,
right?
It was one of those things where, you know, just I probably read it a dozen times, but that one day it finally just clicked.
Yeah.
You know, and I read it, and I was like, "Holy cow! It's way more. This is telling us, listen, in not just in what we're doing now, but in all facets of life, we can do it all through Christ who strengthens us in the good and in the bad.
When you feel that God is listening,
When you feel that God's there,
and
when you feel that He's not,
mm-hmm.
right? When you're high, when you're low." When you're feeling bleh,
or you're feeling the opposite of
bleh, which would be like woo woo.
Right.
Listen, you can. So here's the thing. I think this will be bottom line. I think no matter what you're going through right now, no matter what's going on in your life, things are bad, things are good, or things are just okay. Like if you ask me, hey Joaquin, how are you? I'm okay. Right? For me right now, life is okay. Right? I'm struggling with some things. I'm not struggling with some other things. Right? I'm enjoying some things. I'm not enjoying some things. I don't enjoy working out, but I'm enjoying people saying, "Hey, man, you've lost some weight." But the thing is this: got a job, no job, broke, filthy rich, send us money. God, Jesus will give you the strength to endure what it is that you're going through now. He'll give you this, because here's the thing: when we're doing good, we act like we don't need His strength. But I think that's when we most need His strength.
We need
right?
the most, right?
God will give you. God will give you the strength to make it through the abundance. To make it through, so that you. Because here's the thing: you make it through the abundance through Christ's strength, and keeping your faith in Christ. And when you make it through the bad, you make it through that hunger with Christ, so that you make it. So your relationship stays intact with Christ. See, both of them, the end result is the same. We need His strength so that when we get through that phase, our relationship is intact with Christ. Because for every high, there's a low. Right? For every low, there's a high. And so we're going to be good. We're going to be bad. Life will be great. Today, you're like top of the world. Tomorrow, your whole family dies and you're the last one left. Christ will give you the strength to make it through today. And God will give you the strength. Christ will give you the strength to make it through that low of losing everyone. I mean, I hope that doesn't happen to anybody. Of losing everyone. But you make it through because of Christ, because of His strength, because of His sacrifice, because of what He did for you and for me on that cross. So it always leads back to the cross.
Always. So we'll end it with this, right? If you are enduring something, right? If you're going through some pain or some rejection, suffering, whatever, then know that you can do all things through Christ who gives you strength. You can endure all things through Christ
You
who
can
gives you
endure
strength.
this pain
Right.
through Christ. You can endure this suffering
and
through
remember
Christ.
that in enduring this pain and this suffering and these bad circumstances, that God will meet all your needs according to the riches of His glory in Christ Jesus. Right? So it always goes back to Christ. It always goes back to the cross. Right? So be encouraged. Be encouraged and know that
You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you.
You may not feel the presence of God,
Yeah.
but God is with you.
Yeah.
And God has given you the strength that you need to endure all these things.
Yeah. So mark that in your Bible.
Oops.
Philippians 4:11 through 13. Read it. Be encouraged by it.
Live it, love it.
Once again, hey, we're glad that you hung out with us. If you made it this far, I want to give a shout outs to all our peeps. What up, peeps?
Especially our new cruise peeps.
That was your shout out. What up, peeps? Peeps, like the little marshmallow Easter things.
All right,
Anyway,
all right. Close it up.
The point is this: sugar. Glad you hung out with us. Remember, as always, Instagram. This is our cry. No, Instagram is Overflow Podcast. Twitter, Overflow Podcast. Facebook, Overflow Podcast. On any of the services, Stitcher, Apple, Google, SoundCloud.
iTunes.
That was Apple.
Oh.
Yeah, so on iTunes, fastest way to find us on iTunes, thisisourcry.com. Fastest way to find us on Google, thisisourcry.com, because there's a bunch of overflows. Overflow Podcast on SoundCloud, because we have the metadata tag on that. And on Stitcher, thisisourcry.com. Fastest way. Or just go to thisisourcry.com, and from there you can just click on the link. So,
Or click on SoundCloud. That's right there on the site. So, yeah.
So, guys, we love you. I always love saying this because it's just my thing. Remember, guys, leave us a note. Tell us you love us. Tell us you hate us. Tell us you're indifferent to us. And until next week, I am Joaquin.
I'm still Jay.
And this is the Overflow Podcast at thisisoutcry.com.
Thanks for listening. Remember to head on over to thisisoutcry.com for more content. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, or Stitcher.